Welcome to the Best of Our Interviews, a podcast from the Marriott Breakfast Show.
Huey Lewis in the news, and I want a new drug, which is basically a cup of tea and a croissant. And that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Or a coffee.
Yeah. Our guest today is Rob Graham. He's the guy that thought up the idea of Asia Pop 40. Good morning.
How are you, Richard? Good to be here.
Pretty good. Welcome, because you're not normally here in Thailand, are you?
No, although I spent a lot of time in Thailand over the years, but just here on a bit of R&R. Thought I'd pop in and say hello.
And you're just travelling and enjoying life.
Travelling and enjoying life, yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So Asia Pop 40 has been on the air for a few years. How long has it been on the air?
I think we're up to six years now. Yeah.
It's going some, isn't it? Yeah. So, and we've thoroughly enjoyed playing the show, and we get a very good response and feedback on that.
Yeah,
and that's really great.
Thank you.
But what other aspects of music are you involved with?
Oh, well, I mean, my background, I'm originally from Melbourne, my first love was music, so everything from punk to symphony orchestras and everything in between. So I always wanted to do something in music, but at a time when I thought, well, that's never going to pay the bills. So I ended up in advertising, and I worked in advertising agencies for 25 years or so.
Really?
Mostly in Asia, actually. Started in Singapore in 92 with the old Beatty ads, which was great. And then, but that allowed me to keep a creative hand in doing things. And but the back of my mind, I always loved radio. I'd done stints on Triple R FM in Melbourne and PBS in Melbourne, and talked about one day doing something in radio, and then an opportunity actually arose in Vietnam, where I was a co-founder of Vietnam's first CHR station, or top 40 station there.
Which city was that?
That was in Saigon,
Saigon,
Ho Chi Minh.
okay.
But it was a national broadcast.
Okay.
In conjunction with Voice of Vietnam, so that was great. They were great partners, and that was kind of that really proved a lot of people wrong. A lot of people said that would never happen. It would never happen. It would never work. We blended Western pop with Vietnamese pop, and we were the first to do that, and then other Asian pop. And so the formula worked quite well, and the programming seemed to be a success, and along came sponsors, and so that was great. That was in the mid-2000s, and then I did a stint in Virgin Radio in Bangkok.
Yes.
Did a project there for about 18 months.
Yes.
And all that time I had in the back of my mind to develop content or programming for radio, and I thought, well, drive around. All I could hear was American Top 40 and other shows from the other side of the world that weren't really relevant for radio stations here or audiences here. So I went off to see our partners Apple Music in Hong Kong, told them the idea. They came on board straight away, immediately, as our partners, with a view to promoting local music as well as international music, being more relevant for audiences here in this part of the world.
Yeah.
And once again, people said, it'll never work. You can't combine, Thai pop with Western pop, but we have, and music consumption now has really changed over, even just within the 6 months as the 6 years we've been on air. Mainly because of the internet, streaming, downloads, Spotify, everyone, and particularly audiences in Asia, are very open to all sorts of different types and genres of music.
I think audiences everywhere with the internet.
And more so.
I'm just getting into Mongolian heavy rock.
And with that, let's rock on. This is new from Will Young. Will Young. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? We do like that. All the songs at Surf 102.5. You got any favourites, Rob?
Oh, I've got too many favourites to list now. Otherwise, it'll become a drive time show.
Exactly. Oh boy. By the way, every week you send us a promo, which we have to. Well, we don't have to play, but we play.
Yes.
And we run.
Lovingly produced by CJ, who I know is listening right now.
CJ, where are you listening? Where's he listening?
He's somewhere in Australia.
Is he in Australia?
Yep.
Okay.
Somewhere in Australia.
Freezing cold.
Really? Okay.
He's in Wodonga. So we'll shout out to Wodonga.
Yes, good on you, Wodonga.
Wodonga.
Aubrey Wodonga, yes.
Wodonga.
Know it very well.
Colloquial, complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear that promo, and then we'll come right back in just a second.
What's going on, Asia? This is Joey Chow. This week on Asia Pop 40, we've got the latest from the Chainsmokers, Zayn, Avicii, and the awesome new one from Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber. Plus, we'll see if Taylor Swift can hold on to the top spot for a third week. All that and more on Asia Pop 40. Every Saturday from 9 a.m. and Sunday from 3 p.m. right here on Surf 102.5.
Yes, so now you know. And now you know what we're talking about. By the way, you can see us on Facebook, I think,
Live.
somewhere. Are we Facebook Live? Yes, we are.
Hello.
Good. Morning.
Just to add into everything, isn't it?
And the best way is actually to watch on Facebook and listen on the radio.
Exactly.
Okay. So, how has the station grown? Because when we took the show a few years ago, I think you only had a handful of stations. Well, and now you've really exploded, right?
Yeah, we started with one. We started with one station, and I think the last count is 100 and something, 105 or something. We added a couple more or another one in China recently. So in the 6 years, it took a while to get going, but then it started to take off, and we've just expanded into the Middle East as well. We've launched over there with ARN, the Arabian Radio Network. We're in Australia, New Zealand. We're on the iHeart Radio app down there. So
is that an online service, or is it on FM as well?
No, it's a streaming service.
It's a streaming service. Right.
China is FM and streaming. So we've got about 55 or so stations in China.
There.
So
only 55.
In Mandarin, yes.
Right.
So we're
and you're
doing
out
a Mandarin.
Unusual places. You're out in Guam or somewhere, aren't you?
We're in Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands, so we're way out in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, south of the Philippines, or east of the Philippines.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's great that the show's been so welcomed. And why do you think it's been so successful? What's the key thing?
I think we wanted to be relevant for Asian audiences. So we're not made in the US. We're not made in London. We're using local charts. So we partner with Apple. Apple have been terrific. We created the first regional chart with Apple. So prior to that, there was only a chart for India, or a chart for Taiwan, or a chart for Singapore. And with Apple's help, we asked them to put together a chart that encapsulated the whole of Asia. Yeah. And so I think we have 15 markets in our basket of countries.
But it's all mainly English music, apart from perhaps BTS or one or two.
It mainly is. I mean, it depends. When BTS drop an album, then you could have 10 songs in the chart. Yeah. We know that most of our stations are English-speaking stations, so we do tend to, if there's too many non-English songs, we will skip them on the chart. We'll throw in a hit prediction or some other type of song. We're conscious of the fact that in Asia, a lot of stations, English language stations, in their license stipulates they've got to play English language songs. So we don't push that too much. We don't want to, jeopardize anyone's license. But it's a balance that I think over the years we've managed to work out.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
We will.
Yeah.
What's next?
All right. I have no idea what's next. How should I know what's going on?
A competition. Are we giving something away?
Can we give something away? I have no idea.
No idea.
We'll be back in just a moment, but we'll try and give something away.
Get some idea.
Yeah, okay.
The Marriott Breakfast Show will be back soon.
News on the way in just a couple of minutes from the BBC. And then we shall continue our chat with Rob Graham from the Asia Pop 40. Good track, isn't it? Keen, somewhere only we know. Surf 102.5, the Marriott Breakfast Show, live at the Siam Bakery with our guest, Rob Graham, who is the executive producer of Asia Pop 40. Tomorrow morning, right here on Surf 102.5. So how's the show been going? I know you've been developing the show and you're in all these markets, but China must have been difficult to get into.
China was always one of our main objectives, but we knew it would take a while because nothing ever happens quickly in China. It's difficult. It's a difficult place to do business, and so we were prepared to be patient. And but I was lucky. It took me 3 years to find a partner in China.
What does the local partner do?
Well, they represent a conglomeration of stations. So,
okay, all right.
So there are so many. I think they've got 500 of them, all in many different languages, different formats, from classical to jazz to pop. And of the ones that are of interest to us, obviously, are the younger, the ones skewed to a younger audience. And so it took us 3 years or so to find a partner, and within 12 months we were on 50 stations there. So the patience was worthwhile.
And you've got a different DJ. This is all in Chinese, is it?
It's in Mandarin.
It's in Mandarin.
Yes.
Right. Are you running any English shows up there?
No.
No, okay.
No, we're not. We're English in Taiwan. We're on 5 or 6 stations in Taiwan.
On ICRT, right?
ICRT
yes.
up there. But for China, it's hosted by Max Lim, who Max is terrific. He's done a terrific job from the beginning. Obviously, very popular with our audience in China because we keep adding stations there. So. I should say China is an entirely different show, different chart. We don't use Apple Music charts. We use Tencent charts up there.
Okay.
So it's 95% Chinese artists.
Tencent is the biggest basic communications and media company
like the
in
Apple
China,
Music
isn't it?
firm.
Yes. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah. So there's occasionally you'll hear an Ed Sheeran or a Coldplay but it would be 90% Chinese artists.
Content.
Yeah.
How interesting. Asia Pop 40.
Yeah.
Let's come back with Rob in just a couple of minutes. How are you doing? Are you still with us?
I am still with us.
That's all right. You did enjoy the breakfast.
Yeah, I've been talking to your lovely wife, so chatting about Melbourne, all things Melbourne.
And Geelong.
That's live, isn't it? How are you doing? That's one of your favourite tracks, isn't it?
Oh, I love
or
that
not?
era. Yeah, I love that song. Always reminds me. It was in Stakeout, one of the big movies of the '80s.
Yeah.
So
it's such a happy track, isn't it?
I love it.
Was that Jennifer Lopez in that?
Yeah. Gloria Esteban.
Oh.
Yeah.
Similar.
It's similar. Well, it's very much the same era. That's my big era. I loved it.
All right. Well, that's good. We're talking with Rob Graham from Asia Pop 40. And I know that you're on several radio stations around Thailand, aren't you?
We are. We're on 4 in Thailand.
It's not bad going. Where are they?
Here, obviously. Yeah. Pattaya.
Yeah.
Chiang Mai. And down in Phuket.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
we haven't cracked the big mango yet, but we're trying.
Yes, I think that's a bit of a difficult one up in Bangkok.
Very crowded market.
Yeah. How are we going for the future? Where's the show going? Because you've had a change of DJ. You had Dom Lau.
Yes.
And then there was a change. Did Dom just... was he just too busy or what? What happened?
Dom was instrumental in the beginning of the show and was our host for 5 years. Did a fantastic job.
Yes.
And I guess, to be fair, Dom had other things on the horizon that he was interested in. He's moved more into sports media, sports commentating, and other areas. And he's getting on in years too. So we looked for we looked for someone younger,
a younger, fresher voice.
And so it was time for a transition. And nothing constant is always is the big change in radio. So. We realised that we wanted to keep young and fresh and moving ahead. And Joey, based in Taiwan, is fantastic, and he's brought a new level of energy to the show. And we're very happy to have him on board.
Excellent.
But he did have big shoes to fill. Dom did a terrific job.
It was a tough challenge, that I must say, and I think Joey's doing extremely well, and we really do enjoy the show. What about plans for the future? Where are we going from here?
Well, we continue. We've launched in the Middle East. We've got our eye on a lot of developing parts of the world. So Africa is on the list. Central Asia, the Central Asian republics are on the list. As we could take the model really to many parts of the world, where radio and a combination of social media is a great combination. But developing markets really do represent a big opportunity for many media and content producers. So, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at other forms of the show and other types of shows around popular culture as well. So,
interesting. Do you have any stations in India?
We're not in India at the moment. We
Okay.
are talking to a couple over
Okay,
there.
good.
Again, India is a very fragmented market from a cultural point of view. Many languages. There's still heaps to do. We're not, we haven't reached there yet in terms of global domination, but we're
You're on your way.
There is one very important question which I failed to ask you earlier, and that is, how does the show generate revenue?
Well, we sell the show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. We also have sponsorships within the program, and we are using the show as a means to launch other platforms. So, in some ways, it's an investment. In other ways, it's we have some. We're building a foundation for the future with it.
Great.
Yeah.
Good. Rob, thank you so much. It's been
pleasure.
really enjoyable this morning. You coming in.
Thank you.
and
Thank you for your
taking time out of
support,
your
Richard.
holidays.
Thank you for taking the show.
Pleasure. We thoroughly enjoy running it, and people seem to enjoy it and stuff. So that's great. We'll just continue and rock on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Rob Graham
Good morning.
from the Asia Pop 40.
Surf 102.5.
The Marriott Breakfast Show.
Listen again for another Marriott Breakfast Show podcast.